Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we can settle down.
Yeah. Here's the remote.
Oh, no, okay. I hope you're all feeling refreshed after that coffee break. So, we'll carry on with the agenda. The next agenda item is on the quality assurance process. Christina, I shall hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me properly? Yeah. So good morning, everyone from me. I'm Christina Schneider. I work for the Iala Secretariat full-time now since last October. I'm from Germany originally, from the German Maritime Administration. And I've been around in Iala for a long time. So I've been the chair of the legal advisory panel for several years and was also involved in the change of status process. So I'm not new to this organization, even though I'm now a full-time member of the Secretariat, and that is new. I will not give you a legal lecture on any of these items, so no worries. But I want to brief you shortly on the quality assurance process in the IGO. We are an IGO now. We became an IGO moving on from the association. This doesn't happen very often. And as an international intergovernmental organization, some of the requirements for publishing documents are definitely a little bit more stricter, and we have a bit more firm view on the documents. But overall, as I always say, no worries. We continue to work together between the Secretariat and the committees, the participants, the member states, and everything will work out fine in the end. I take you briefly back on, well, some of the historical developments, but basically on the governance aspects of the convention entered into force in 2024 in August. And that was the day the IGO was established. The convention is, the organization was established under international law, so it's not comparable to the constitution of an association. It is now considered to be international law, and we have to be very strict in taking into account what is in the convention. As you might have heard, that the first General Assembly in Singapore was in February 2025, so that was already more than a year ago. All these standards, recommendation, guidelines, manuals, model courses, other documents from the association were adopted as those of the IGO. So in principle, the IGO has the same documents as the association had. But of course, the wording in all of these documents is still association. So it's everywhere. It's my task to track down all of these association name. But of course, as you know, recommendation and guidelines are not only about the name, so they always have an introduction. They have a lot of wording on the governance, and we need to change that over time. In our 80 recommendations and approximately 180 guidelines. So this will take some time. This is what is on my desk primarily, but of course we all work together in the technical department on this, and we will conduct it in the Secretariat over time. But of course, you continue working on these documents, so we all encourage you on taking into account the wording of whatever your drafts you're working on, and encourage you to be mindful of the changes now that we are in IGO. What we all, I think, want is publication of precise, accurate, validated, and consistent technical documents. this is also not new. I mean, the quality assurance process has been going on for a very long time in the Secretariat. There were templates, there is the style guide, and there was also a quality assurance process, of course. But now that we have a little bit more staff capacity also in the technical department, we try to improve again the level of our documents that are published. And of course, the focus is here on the recommendation and guidelines, because they set the standard in terms of also the technical work and the technical harmonization worldwide. So I will not take you through all the articles of the convention for sure. I mean, that would be kind of boring for you, I'm pretty sure. But I just want to briefly mention that we have a definition of marine aids to navigation in the convention now. And it is as it is. This is what we have to work with. It's not different than the one before, not a lot, but it is, for example, it is now includes vessel traffic services. So whenever you talk about marine aids to navigation, VTS is automatically included. Things like that will affect some of the wordings in the documents. I'm at the moment reading through all the recommendation and guidelines. So one can feel once in a while that we might be a little bit better in taking care of the definitions in the convention. We also have a different definition of member state. So it's no more national members, of course, in the IGO. This is also something that is maybe, as well, you're mostly technical experts, not necessarily always on your agenda. But this is, of course, these are the changes that came with the IGO status. And of course, the functions and the committees, this has not changed. So you can, of course, continue, develop and communicate non-mandatory standards, recommendation guidelines, manuals, and other appropriate documents. And these are prepared and reviewed by the committees. So lucky you, for you, nothing really is going to change in terms of how you work in the committees. But please be more mindful of the definitions that are related to the convention. And of course, if you have questions or if you're not sure, just continue to get in contact with us here in the Secretariat, and we help out with finding proper wording in specific chapters. I want also to brief on the quality assurance process now that we have a little bit more capacity in the Secretariat. And one of the main issues that we want to achieve is gaining more time for the quality assurance process. I'm not aware that, well, we have got 4 committees, and we've got always these committee seasons where we have, within a short amount of time, all the 4 committees having their session. And then we have a very brief time period where the quality assurance process has to happen before we have the input paper deadline for submissions to the council. And as you know, or you might have heard from your delegation, the input paper deadline to council is now 40 days instead of 30 days. So that means that we lose time in terms of how much time do we have to look at an individual document before the submission to council. And this is why we propose a little bit of a change in the quality assurance process. That basically means that we take 6 months more. So from one committee season to another committee season. So that would mean that, well, like before, the committee management team and the task group leaders, they plan this a little bit ahead. And the idea is always, of course, to finalize the document as soon as possible. So the task group prepares the draft, or the working group prepares the draft, like in the past, and declare it's ready for submission to council. And then the plenary of the committee of that session is informed about this progress. And this will be different now. Instead of passing it through the approval of the committee, it will be presented at the next session of the committee. So we take 6 months, and in the interim, everyone can have a look at the document, the participants, but also we here in the Secretariat. And the document will be resubmitted as a working paper to the next committee session. And then will be approved by the next session of the committee. This is the basic idea, and we will try to ease slowly into it. So as nothing of this was kind of planned in advance, we will be a bit more flexible, I think, at this session, but we try to be a bit more firm on this at the coming season in the autumn. With all the rules, there's always, of course, exceptions to rules. So I already see many of you say, oh my God, we lose 6 months. We are related to other organizations. We are related to schedules of other organizations. Of course, we are aware of it. And of course, there are exceptions. So if you have documents that needs to be referenced by other organizations, and this needs to be happening now, of course, it is an exception to the rule. And of course, it can be passed to council without any delay. But with some of the documents, we realized that there is no urgency in some of the documents, and then they can be approved 6 months later. So I think that we will find out how it's going to work. As with the secretaries, they're also closely involved in the process together with the whole committee management teams. And let's see how it goes. And as I said again, we try to be as flexible as possible in order to not hamper the technical progress. On the other hand, when it's not urgent to submit a paper immediately to council, we should take the time and we should have a look at the document. And it's not about only formatting to a template or something. It's also about an editorial process. And that includes looking at the content, looking at some wording, looking also at other documents that might be related to this document. Because it's important. I mean, most of you, I assume, have been sort of having a university education, so you know how scientific work is going to happen, and this should be thorough, and references should be updated, and also cross-references should be checked, and all of this. And I think we need a little bit more time to do that properly. So this is one aspect that will change. And it will, as I mentioned, also more time in the Secretariat to have a look. We, of course, will, or we already have kind of streamlined our internal procedures and how to conduct the quality assurance process and make it as efficient as possible. Again, what will continue is, of course, the close cooperation between you, the committee participants, and us here in the Secretariat. This is also nothing new, and this will not change for sure. So whenever you have questions, whenever you have drafts ready to be reviewed, send them over during a committee week here in the headquarters, or whenever you have intersessional meetings. Do not hesitate to come to us, ask for feedback as early as possible, so we can conduct the quality assurance process as early as possible and as thorough as possible to have the best output papers afterwards. In relation to this, I will also would like to raise that we have new recommendation and guidelines templates ready for you. I think Alisa mentioned it briefly. It's in the file share. Yeah. So if you have been working on some drafts for some time and you use the old ones, do not worry too much about it. We will fix this. But of course, if you start new work, we strongly encourage you to choose the new ones, because it's awfully complicated to change back from an old template to a new one and things like that. You would imagine it's just a few clicks, but it's complicated with templates, and it's a strong encouragement to use the new ones whenever possible. One change in the recommendation templates will be in terms of the structure a little bit. It will not change like any of the wording, but for those of you working with IMO, you know that IMO normally does resolutions with an annex, and then the part that should be followed is in the annex. And with recommendations, we would like to follow this sort of structure because it makes a lot of sense. So that means that everything that is recommended in a recommendation and it's normative or informative, but more important for the normative part, this recommendation part goes into the annex. I will show briefly an example just in a short while. And the annex can also have an appendix if it's necessary to have more normative technical aspects. They can follow in the appendix to the annex. So it's nothing new in terms of that we prevent any wording to be shown. It's just a little bit a different structure, that we have a preamble in a recommendation and we have an annex and, if necessary, an appendix. For the existing recommendations, we will, in the Secretariat, we will try to do as much additional editorial work on this as possible, so you don't have to concern yourself with all the existing recommendations. I already had some, I think, some ENG recommendations that I looked at and switched to the new template. So this will come back to the chairs, and then if it's more than just editorial stuff, maybe to you as the committee. So let me just switch and how do I stop the sharing and show you an example? No. Yeah, there's no technical expert here, but I do. Lisa, I do the sharing. Why is it not? Well, this is technical support. So this is an example of, I think it's an ARM recommendation on off-station for major floating marine aids to navigation. And this is already in the new template. So it's more or less, as you know, we have now the International Organization for Marine Aids to Navigation here. It's more or less the same. We have a new paragraph under document revision. So this is also to clarify which edition is in force. So the latest edition of the recommendation is the only version in force unless the recommendation is explicitly revoked by the Council. I think there was also some questions sometimes about, oh, do we have old editions that are in force? Are they in the archive? No, well, the only one that is in force is always the last one you can see here in this table. This is a bit of a change. And then we have the preamble. And the Council making all kinds of decisions. This is just, well, recalling, recognizing, considering, you know, all of this. There's not many changes, just some changes to adapt to the IGO. This is new, but otherwise it's the same. And then we have the Council having considered the proposals made by the ATON Requirement and Management Committee. And then we had in the preamble a part that recommends something. And this is the big change now. You see the yellow text here. This was the old recommended text. And then we have approves the recommendation, and the yellow text just goes now in an annex. And this is the one that the text that, well, recommends whatever is recommended in a normative recommendation. And if necessary, in this case, it was necessary. There was a reference also to some sort of very old agreement, and this goes in an appendix. So this is basically the idea, to take out whatever it is recommended, what you want the members to follow when they claim compliance with the standard or recommendation. It goes in the annex. This is the only change. So it's the same wording, more or less. The template will guide you through the process. So from my point of view, I mean, legally a trained person, it's not much of a change. If you have questions about this, please come and ask all the questions you like. And we're always there to assist you with this process. As I mentioned, we in the Secretariat will take over the editorial work for the existing recommendations. We will probably expect that if you start new work on recommendations, please follow this new structure. This is it basically. So it's not really a lot of changes. It's a bit of changing around the structure, but I think it should be possible to follow easily. For those of you who have been with IMO, I mean, that's really absolutely no news. I think that's it. I hope it was not too long. If you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them right now or later on in the office. Yes, please.
You spoke there on encouraging us to be mindful of the changes now it's an IGO and the impact that has on language. I wondered if there was any official guidance on what that language change is, rather than us. Obviously, I respect it as the editorial position you have, but it would save a bit of time if we knew what those changes were before we then propose new guidance.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's related to well, I mean, the convention, obviously. So as I said, well, there is definition for marine aids to navigation. We don't expect you to have properly legal governance, perfect text. I mean, that's not your profession. That's what we are there for, to help. We will update the style guide in due term. So there might be some sort of more references in there on how to be mindful of certain aspects. This, of course, takes some time. The style guide is also a document that is not a short one. And yeah, we have many tasks also on our tables. We will do that. We will also publish, I think, in the aftermath of this committee season, a small procedure for you to have a look at if you're in doubt of any of the new schedule or any of the new quality assurance process. But don't be too afraid. You know, you are technical experts, so you should continue to work as before. But I just encourage you to do not use association anymore, or to say aids to navigation. So it's obviously marine aids to navigation, things like that. And then we will give some guidance, I think, as part of the style guide that will be done as soon as possible. So I assume that you will have a new version before the committee season in October. Yes. Any more questions? No? So you're all happy? That makes me enormously happy. But no worries. So I hope to see you around, not just only for the soiree, but I'm in the technical department. So whenever you have questions, just find me and we talk it through. Thank you.
Actually, I do have a question.
You have one.
I have one.
The chair. It's always the
So just to clarify, this is referring to recommendations and guidelines, not liaison notes that are external.
Well, of course, liaison notes are important as well. So they go through the quality assurance process, but liaison notes, I mean, they're not publications of the organization. Mm-hmm. So that goes through the quality assurance process, and we will point out if you say association, I mean, we will say, well, maybe that's not correct anymore. But it will be less, I assume that it will be less strict because it's not a publication. So we will take that into account. But the focus, I think, is, of course, in the published documents for recommendation and guidelines for now.
Okay, but there's no 6 months delay on liaison notes.
No, absolutely not. No, that would crash the whole system, you know.
Indeed.
Yeah, we are not in. I mean, that's not dreamland where we can do whatever we want just to improve. No.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that point because obviously, in particularly working group 2, that could happen. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, is everyone okay with sort of up to date on the quality assurance process? Jeffrey?
Yeah, about the liaison notes. How's the quality assurance for the liaison notes then? Is that?
It's like before. We do it in a very short amount of time. And of course, normally liaison notes are not 30 pages, so they are normally.
Hopefully not.
No, hopefully not. They are normally short.
Yeah.
And of course, we prioritize that in time for the input paper deadline for council. Okay. But if it's just you have to send them. I mean, you cannot wait 6 months normally. If you can 6 months, if you can wait 6 months, then we can wait. But it's less strict because normally there is a schedule that needs to be followed with liaison notes, normally to IMO, to ITU, to IHO, and there is a schedule. So
Another question about the quality assurance. There are a lot of documents at the moment. Are you all gonna look at them and say which one has to be revised or kind of revised? Or?
yes, I look
Okay.
at the, well, I mean, I'm only one person, you know, I've got also some other tasks, so it's not, but it's about 80 recommendations, more or less. So I look through all of them, and I transfer them into the new template. I make a proposal also on the structured change with a new annex. And this is sometimes easy, sometimes it's not easy. It depends a little bit on what was the status of, or what was the status of the recommendation before. And some are more complicated. I already had some ENG recommendations that I thought, oh, this is not an easy one. And I assume that they will go back to the committee. We will need to talk to the chair, the committee management team about it. But the idea is, if it's more than just editorial, that it should go back, and it might need to have a committee approval again. So in order to make sure that we do not lose anything and we do not miss anything, and it's a proper document.
Okay, last question then, for now. Manuals are also going to the quality assurance?
Yes, they will. But again, there is a priority in all of this, like the hierarchy of documents. There's a priority in the documents, and well, we'll do that over time. It affects all documents of the organization, but of course we cannot do everything at once. So I'm sorry, we're not like the IMO with the whole department for the quality assurance process. That would be also a dream, but maybe not. That will come true soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions before we move on?
Sure.
Oh, Elisa.
Yes, sir. I'll just briefly show you that if you're started with a guideline or recommendation, please use the new formats, which I'm sharing now on the screen. So it's on the Nextcloud. Here is the two doc files, which is a guideline and recommendation. So if you are starting to work with a document, please use these templates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Christina. Okay, we'll move on then to the next agenda item, which is updates on mass. Minsu.
Chair, I have a brief update on mass. So regarding the mass matter, although this task has been some time in Iala, several important developments have taken place recently. So Iala had a dedicated Iala mass workshop on mass, and IMO is expected to approve the voluntary mass code next month. In addition, Iala recommendation 1026 on mass was approved by the council last December, as I alluded on council report. So this recommendation highlights the need for digitalization and the safe and efficient provision of the age navigation and retest services, and close regional and international cooperation to ensure consistency of services. With this milestone achieved, the work will now move to the development of the Iala guideline on mass. So this task will be led by ARM committee, with the annexes addressing the specific topical matters, as you can see on the screen. So if there is a need, the ENG might have some dedicated annex for this guideline. It's up to the decision of this committee. So that's a brief update on mass, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Minsu. Any comments or questions on the topic of mass? The mass task force has finished its role, as we said. So, so the updates are now through ARM. No. Okay, thank you very much, Minsu. and we'll go to the last point on Iala, which is the Worldwide Academy. Vincent.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Oh, just noon. Hello, everyone. So I'm pleased to deliver this short update about the Worldwide Academy, and I will be brief, and I will divide my speech in 3 parts. Of course, this very short update on the Academy, and then I will address shared topics between the Royal Academy and ENG committee. You can see here a kind of tribute to Arvich. Then, yes, the great news this year is, of course, the 5th full-time staff member within the Worldwide Academy. Actually, we are very successful when it comes to training and education, and we have a high level of operations with something like more than 15 training sessions each year. So this high level of operations entails a very significant amount of management and administrative work. And these operational activities are undertaken at the expense of other tasks, which are not currently being carried out properly. So thanks to the commitment and the very strong support from IFAN, meaning the International Foundation for Aid to Navigation, we are very happy to have enough resources to recruit this supplementary staff member within the Worldwide Academy. And this staff member will be specifically dedicated to operation task. So the name is Education Planner. And so this new staff will be dedicated to planning, relation with hosting countries and training centers, and of course, setting up of teams of trainer and selection of management of sponsored individuals within our training. Then this new staff will allow the education manager, naming, of course, Latifa Umuzun, you know already, to be more focused on, I would say, strategic tasks when it comes to the Iala educational system. So I mean then the management of the e-learning platform, the monitoring of the accredited training organization network, and of the accreditation scheme as well, the evaluation of teaching materials and tutorials inter alia, and of course, all these tasks remains of paramount importance for the efficiency and even the credibility of the higher education system. So luckily, the selection process has been actually completed nowadays, and we expect an appointment by the 1st of June or the 1st of July, depending on the French, I would say, administration process for the stay permit, for instance. Then still about the Worldwide Academy. So I just want to share our planning for 2026 with still a lot of high level of activities for training and education. And I must mention that we have already, since 1st of January, a very high level of activities. This is all the blue policy in this board. So I would like just to refer you to very successful S200 data production training, which was held at Iala headquarters last February, and which will be again delivered next May under the request of the chair of the MAC, meaning Mesoamerica and Caribbean Hydrographic Commission. So next May in Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo. So I think we have reached a very good level of training when it comes to S200 data production, which of course is strategic nowadays. But I don't want to elaborate too much. You will find this presentation online, of course. And then when it comes to this time capacity building, so we have planned a good number of technical missions in country. Two of them were already delivered or carried out in Gambia and in Iraq. So we are very happy and proud to help Iraq as a recovering country. So last time, for the second time actually, last February. And then we will, of course, deliver other already agreed technical missions in Indonesia in the framework of a new memorandum of understanding for a good cooperation level. And then we will have a first technical mission with field mission and high-level meetings in Manila, Philippines, next month, the first week of May. And we would like to carry out the same kind of cooperation as the one with Indonesia. And then we try to arrange a technical mission to Guinea Equatorial. It's a very small country, of course, in Africa, but this country faces a lot of challenges about offshore industries. So this is one of our priority, as you can read in the top left of this slide. We are still under discussion with other countries, including Bangladesh and Salvador, which will maybe review or follow-up missions, which is very important for us as well. And Guinea, of course, is the same. This is the same case. And then we will be arranging two regional seminars. The first one now is quite known. This is the third. So in Mexico, next July 26, with a focus on digitalization and resilient PNT. And the first regional seminar for Africa for now, a long time. The previous one was in December 2015, aside the council, I remember. So we will happy to arrange in close cooperation with the Portuguese Navy. So the first regional seminar for African-speaking countries next November 26. And then we are still eager to participate in the IHO Regional Hydrographic Commissions as any year, I will say. So this was my update about the World Academy. Moving on to the shared topics between the ENG committee and the World Academy. I would like to highlight, but I need to find my slides, two important, of course, topics. The first one is about our level 1 GNSS and e-navigation model course that we will resume, I would say. This year, we have an agreement, we have reached an agreement with Romania, and this 5 days course will be delivered next September in Constanta. And of course, the actuality and the geostrategic context mentioned by many people and still by Francis this morning is a good motivation to deliver again this level 1-4. Of course, you all know that this level 1-4 has just been updated by DTEC and EDGE Committee Working Group 2. And of course, it's not a big review because we need, I think, to make a kind of return of experience when it comes to this level 1-4 before considering a huge review or, yes, a very ambitious review. But of course, we will be eager then to deliver about GNSS vulnerability and resilient PNT. The implication to bridge and shore systems with new communications, such like, of course, VDRS, ASM, IMT, and GMDSS modernization. And then the, of course, S200 PNT-related services, such like Almanac, etc. And so we encourage everyone to publicize, I would say, to advertise this training session. So once again, next from Monday, 14th of September, after summer. So the other important topics is about something I already mentioned, I remember last October, for the ENG21. It's about, of course, the level 1.1 ATON manager model course review. So as already mentioned, it's kind of a reminder. This model course actually is one of the oldest and longest model course as for ATON, and it was lastly reviewed in 2019. And then we have a good level of activities as regards this level 1.1 with more than 1,000 alumni. So it's possible to conduct kind of return of experience already, of course. However, we need to take anyway into account very important drivers such like digitalization and, as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, already sustainability. It's one of the outputs of the last workshop in Dublin last year. And of course, we must be compliant with new developments in educational practices. So it's not the funniest part of this review, but we need to go through that as well so as to be legitimate to deliver this training. And of course, we need as well to align this course content with current Iala documentation. And we need to ensure that this model course is structured using sound educational principles. And then the aim is to produce as well a revised modular structure. As you know, there are 3 modules presently for this model course, and it could be interesting to rearrange this kind of modular structure. So the timeline is quite simple, and we need actually to take time so as to have everyone on board, I would say. So the highlight of the review will be a workshop, which will be arranged next June with the strong support of MPA Singapore. So that will be in Singapore City, I would say. And we have already started this review with a wave of surveys. So we are just now, we have just completed this survey. And then there will be 2 online meetings with participants in the workshop, which are 25. And so as to have this workshop, which will bring together alumni, accredited training organizations, competent authorities, I would say the clients as well, and of course some technical committees representatives. So from ENG and ARM, this is our goal now. And this 3 days workshop will be, of course, of paramount importance, so as to have good discussion about this review. Then the second half of 26, we would like to draft, of course, the report of this workshop and then the input to the concerned technical committees. So by the end of this year, 26, so as I guess to be at the agenda, I would say, of ENG and ARM committee and DTEC as well next year. So for spring, I would say in Europe, spring 27, anyway, before the next GA. So that's it. Voilà. I don't want to be once again too long this morning. Do not hesitate to come to me if you want further information, me or Jaime Alvarez or Latifa Umuzon when it comes to this review of level 1.1. I thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Any comments or questions on the activities of the Worldwide Academy? There's a lot going on. Just to clarify, the input to the technical committees, would that be for information or will it be for?
No.
No.
This is the competence of technical committees, actually. So it's just an input paper. We are eager to arrange appropriate and comprehensive, I would say, input.
Okay.
So, but of course, the final decision and the talk within the technical committees, ENG and DTEC and ARM, are of paramount importance. And of course, this is totally, I would say, your competence.
Sure. Okay.
Just a proposal, anyway.
Okay. So, so the expectation we will need to review the structure and provide feedback.
Yeah, you
in-
could
in
review the
ages to
review. I
Okay.
would say. Yeah, this is the point actually.
Okay.
And we may have many nouveautés within your committee. So let's see. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations as always on your success. And it's great to hear that the team is expanding. I think that's fantastic news. I think that's a demonstration of just how good the Worldwide Academy is appreciated around the world. So I hope you continue with your success. Thank you very much. Then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is IMO matters. And I'd like to hand over to Hideki.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And after ENG22 one last year, there's no IR-related IMO meeting held. But from next month, there's a 111th session of the Maritime Safety Committee meeting from 13 to 22nd May. The two big things related to IR work is one is just already mentioned that there's expected to finalization of non-mandatory mass code and approved by Maritime Safety Committee. Then after that, mass movement will move to experimental building phase before developing the mandatory mass code, which is expected to enter into force in the 2032. This is the one movement from MSC, and also MSC 111 session we're expected to adopt SORAS amendment for the introduction of the VHF data exchange system. And if it's adopted by MSC, then this SORAS amendment will enter into force in 2028, January 1st. That is two movements. And another movement next month for June, there is a 13th session of the IMO NCSR subcommittee starting from 22 June to 26 June. This agenda item is very closely related with especially radio navigation working group of this ENG committee, because one is in development of the performance standard for dual frequency multi-constellation space-based augmentation system with advanced receiver autonomous integrated monitoring. So I know that after this one, maybe Terry of AMSA will make some presentation regarding this one. And another big related things is to also start also development of the performance standard for ranging mode. And I know that already there are two papers coming to one come from the Japan to amend to include to amend resolution A104627 worldwide radio navigation system, so IMO, to include R mode into this worldwide radio navigation systems, and also from the European country also draft performance standard for ranging mode receiver. So this two big things will happen, and I think maybe this ENG22 there's some discussion at the working group too, I hope. These are two big relation with this, especially ENG committee to NCSR. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hideki. Any comments or questions on the matters relating to IMO? No? Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on to matters relating to IHO. I'll hand over to Minsu.
Thank you, Chair. 4.3 on IHO matters. Over the past years, the partnership between Iala and IHO has clearly intensified, particularly to ensure a seamless integration between the S100 and 200 framework. From an institutional perspective, Iala has actively participated in IHO HSSC, and also WWA joined the Regional Hydrographic Commission meetings, while IHO has reciprocated by attending Iala committee meetings since last year. So the two-way engagement is providing essential to harmonize the product specifications and to avoid divergence between the S100 and 200 ecosystems. On the capacity building, we have seen very positive result. The cooperation has continued through the joint S200 training activities, where IHO experts have contributed directly as lecturers in the Iala-led sessions. So this approach allows us to share expertise efficiently and present a consistent technical message to member states. And looking ahead, planning is already on the way for a joint IHO-Iala workshop in September this year, which will be held in Istanbul in September this year. The focus of the workshop will be on practical implementation challenges and interoperability issues between the S100 data model managed by IHO and S200 data model coordinated by Iala. So that's the update on IHO matters. Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Clear, a lot going on between Iala and IHO there. Key part of work on S200 for us. Any comments or questions on those matters? No? Okay, thank you very much, Minsu. We'll move on then to matters relating to ITU. Minsu.
Thank you. On IHO, there are 3 input papers under this agenda point. So 441 and 442 and 443. So first, the 2 papers, 442 and 443. This was the first meeting of the WP5B meeting. It was the fourth meeting of the WP5B in the period of 2023-2027 study cycle. WP5B finalized the revision of the 5 ITUR recommendations and advanced the 2 new reports. As you can see on AIS, 3DS, and NAVDET, and maritime identities. And all 5 revised recommendations were forwarded to Study Group 5, which adopted them at its 1st of December 2025 meeting and initiated the approval of the correspondence procedures. The publications is expected in the early over 2026. And additionally, WP5B is advancing 2 new reports. The first one is on the 3DS R mode, examining the impact of ranging mode on 3DS architecture, which Iala is invited to contribute. And the second one is on the comparative analysis of DMR and DPMR as candidate technology for VHF digital voice, where timing synchronization requirements for handheld and Class B equipments remains an open issue. So that was about the first 2 papers. And the second one was about IMO ITU EG report. The 21st meeting was addressed the 4 areas of relevant to Iala. The first one was a VHF digitalization. The group is drafting a MSc circular on the transition framework. And second one, the WRC 27 and resilient navigation. The group noted IMO's ongoing work on developing performance standards for R mode in radio navigation receivers, alongside the identification UMF and HF frequency allocation to support ACS. Thirdly, on S100 IP connectivity, SECOM and MCP remains an optional component. The group emphasized the need for operational trials to validate IEC 63173-1 and also 63173-2. So the IP connectivity framework is explicitly not part of the current GNSS scope. And lastly, on NAVDET, France has commissioned two HF coastal stations, Cross Corson on the Atlantic coast and Cross La Garde on the Mediterranean, and has offered to support field trial for shipborne NAVDET equipment. NAVDET services area intended to align with the existing NAVTEX area. So that's the briefing from ITU matters, Chair.
Great, thank you very much. It's good to see 1371 and 585 still being relevant in this day. I remember working on it many years ago. Any comments or questions on ITU? No? Okay, thank you very much, Vincent. We'll move on then to matters relating to PIANC. I'd like to invite Mariano to provide us with an update. I can't see where he is. Oh, there he is.
Everyone. I will. Hello, everyone. I will talk about PIANC. I will give a brief about the structure and the function and some relevant topics about the sister organization. Well, PIANC is the Association for Waterborne Transport Infrastructure, and the objective of PIANC is to promote the inland and maritime navigation, and with focus on design, planning, and improvement and maintenance and operation on channel, inland, and maritime waters. Founded in 1885, and
It's changed.
It
Yeah,
changed.
it changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There we go.
Just wait.
Yeah.
yes, no, I see
Yeah.
the reflect.
Yes.
Well, the organization of PIANC is with have 79 countries, and 14 countries of these 79 has the status of qualifying members. This different between Iala, for example, is that these qualifying members can be a national member, for example. Is another vision, because in these conditions, the members can be like an embassy of the organization. So, for example, in Argentina, we are a private company and represent the national section, and we collect all the requirements of the members. There are national members, there are governmental members, and private members like professional and engineers and others professions. But we collect all the topics, the interests, and represent PIANC for the country. So there is different between other organizations like ITO or Iala too. Well, this is the two models, because there are platinum partners, like you can see there, a lot of dressing companies, for example, doing the support for the organization, and there are another conditions like individuals members. And below you can see, for example, the sister organizations who works each other with young. This is the structure or the organigram of young. You can see the commissions, the technical commissions, like our committee. There are inland navigation commissions, maritime navigation commission, environmental commission, and recreational commissions. And there are two important commissions that international cooperation commissions is like technical missions of Iala because these commissions work each other with emerging countries. And in yellow, you can see the young professional commissions. I will talk after about that because this is a new concept just to merge the expertise of senior professionals with young professionals. About the technical commissions, you can see the Inland Navigation Commission. I put some information about the last documents that the organization developed. In here, design of navigation logs. Well, about the design, construction, and maintenance of navigation logs is an update of the last document about that. Is 40 years between the last document to the new versions from August of 2025. Then there is for MARCOM, Maritime Navigation Commissions, for accidental impact from ships on fixed structures. Well, there are a lot of information about the accidents between ships and civil construction, like bridge or rocks or dams, and well, how work each other with port authorities or intergovernmental governments to develop how can help to mitigate these situations. And the other from Marcom. This is from January 2020, 2014. No. This one. This is the last. It's not a new document, but is the nowadays who is using is the document who merged about the design of channel approach channel with H2 navigation and our activity, for example. No, and you can see at the top the logo of Iala who work each other to develop this document during this opportunity. And then there is from MBCOM. Well, in this document from March of 2026, developed the idea to find the environmental window to do the task or the job during the construction or the maintenance of channels. So, because we have to find or to mitigate the impact of this activity with the wildlife or the marine life, with the how can affect the cycle life of fish or the community fish and the tide. Well, there are a lot of topics that work with that. And the last is the recreational navigation infrastructure. and how work with the other, not the commercial navigation. So is how is the construction of topics. Well, this is the document that developed during the commissions, and about the young professional commission. Well, this is a young professional from all over the world who share a common passion for waterborne transport and its related challenge. Maybe passion is a strong word, but the idea of PIANG is to create a community with young blood to merge, like I say, with expertise, with senior professional, and the introduce the idea to generate technical visits to be strong the fusion with the activity, and to show and to introduce in these topics. So, well, in this case, create the biennial technical visit. We can see the history of each years that try to give a support for young professional to visit the ports and to create a community from young people. Next will be in Spain in 2027. Photograph last year was in Busan in South Korea, for example. And the next is there are 2 awards from young professional. One is P.P. William Award. Every year deliver an award with different quantity of money, of course, 1, 2, and 3. And well, depend, of course, the let's say the you can design or you're in a phase of design or in a phase of construction. So this is the difference between the for the award, and well, it's a committee who analyze the input papers and the programs, and they deliver the award. And during the World Congress, every 4 years, there is another award, is the young professional, and it's not the same conditions, but you have to present the paper or the work that you has developed. And there is the World Congress every 4 years. Next will be in June in Belgium, 2028. It's like our conference, no? So it's the same idea. And for the last will be the PIANG America, will be in October 2027. Well, we merge like I say, resilience and integration of technology, just and intelligence artificial. So how can the technology with human factor merge to be a safe navigation? Well, that is the idea nowadays about PIANG is working. You.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation on PIANG. Any comments or questions? And Mariana, is it possible to get hold of those documents? They're publicly available. Are they publicly available? Then So you could use the microphone just.
You say the document that I said? No, it's not public. You have to be a member
Okay.
to download this document.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on then to matters relating to CIE. I don't have a presentation, but there's just three things that I want to sort of bring to your attention. We have a draft MOU that's currently been sent to CIE to strengthen the cooperation between Iala and CIE. At the moment, there's been no further developments on that, so we'll just keep an eye on that for the time being. I'm involved in the work on the maintenance factor, what we would call the service condition factor. Again, things have been quite slow in development there, so I haven't really got much to report on that. Actually, I just realised there's not much to report on the third item, which is on the cone fundamentals. This was the issue to do with the definition of color perception in the eye, and changing the effectively the action spectra of the eye. In fact, the lead of that research forum will be standing down. So they're looking for a new lead, Tony Bergen. He's the president-elect for CIE, so he will take up the presidency next year in 2027 at their quadrennial conference. So for that reason, he's having to step down because he hasn't got the time, which is entirely understandable. But Tony's a good guy. He's very supportive of what we do at Iala. So I think there's a good opportunity to strengthen with his presidency. Strengthen our cooperation with his presidency. So watch this space. There's nothing more to add on CIE, but I'll take any questions on CIE matters. No? Okay. Then we'll move on to the next section of the agenda, which is the advertisement of the presentations. Are these all the up-to-date presentations? So here we go. This is the timetable on the screen. This will be on the website as Elisa showed earlier. So for working group 1, there's one this afternoon at 4 o'clock on SIDS. There'll be 4 presentations tomorrow in working group 2, starting at 9 o'clock. That will go through to the coffee break. And then after the coffee break, there's 2 in working group 3. That's 11 o'clock. Okay. So those. Lisa?
Yes, sir. I will just share in the website and all the information about the schedule. And also, if there will be any other requests, please, dear working group chair, inform me, so I will update appropriately. So you will see the schedule on ENG dashboard under the news, the table itself, and the file, also Excel file.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. Any questions on the presentations for this week? No? Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on then to an overview of the work to take place this week, and I'll invite the chairs to present well themselves and also the work they're going to try and achieve this week. So first of all, working group 1 on visual and physical ATON. Malcolm, over to you.
Thanks, Alwyn. Yeah, we have a number of input papers for working group 1. We've updated the action register, task list, register.
Action plan.
Action plan, that's
Action
the
plan.
one. This is the one. So we're looking to finalise the guideline and recommendation on leading lights. That's a lot of effort to get that done, and then revise the calculation tool for that as well. We're looking to finalise the guideline on design of floating 8-ton moorings, the moorings on that, and that'll be out this week as well. And then we want to have a look at future work items that we can possibly put in. There's another task group working on buoy maintenance, floating 8-ton maintenance, and those are the key tasks for this week. However, we do have a couple. Oh, sorry, and the monitoring, remote control and monitoring. But we have a couple of input papers, and I'll take that during the working group with Will with regards to guana and sustainability papers and what we do with them, how we handle them. So that'll be the work for the week. And we'll identify any other tasks that we need to start thinking about for next session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Signals from the sky. That's fine. Thank you very much. We'll move on to working group 2 on radio navigation services, and Jeffrey.
Thank you. Jeffrey van Riels. I'm chair. I have 2 vice chairs, luckily, because there's a lot of work. We only have 18 documents to look at. One very late, one very, very late. With 5 working documents from last time, and also from the workshop, of course, some work. So we're going to take a look at that one. PPP, we're going to try to finish it this time. Going to look at ELON, of course, what's known. R mode, Raycons, and of course S200. So that's global. We can discuss this afternoon how we're going to fit it all in.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, just for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad I have 2 chairs now. So
yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
so they can help me. Thanks.
Ice cream. Okay. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. And then working group 3, Heritage and Culture Forum, Sarah Jane.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and I am chair returning again for Working Group 3 Heritage and Culture, where we look at providing guidance for heritage 8-ton and also guidance on promoting these properties as well. We've got a few tasks that we are progressing, the development and review of various guidelines to do with heritage artifacts, with good practice in modernising heritage lighthouses, and then also to do with agreements for complementary use and business plans for complementary use of historic lighthouses. So we will be working on each of those. We will also be just confirming the process for nomination selection for Heritage Lighthouse of the Year, which has been updated following Council's last meeting. And I just want to say again, congratulations to Evangelistas Lighthouse for being named Heritage Lighthouse of the Year for 2026. We'll be looking at updates to our website as well, and also discussing what tasks we want to tackle for the next task period. So yeah, that will be us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we if you are intending to be in working group 1, can you raise your hand please and just keep them hand.
The job?
32.
Yeah, first.
Okay. Okay, for working group 2, can you raise your hand, please? Okay, and for working group 3. Okay, if you could just give me just 1 second. Okay, so is that what we? Okay, so we'll have working group 1 in here, working group 2. This will be split into 2, and if you go into that half of the room, and then working group 3, I think you're in your usual room on the other side of the building. You seem very comfortable there. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your participation this morning. I shall let you go and have a slightly earlier lunch than planned, and we'll reconvene at 2 o'clock in your respective working groups. Thank you very much. I wish you a good week. Thank you.